A Ghost Story is a 2017 film directed and written by David Lowery, distributed by 24 Pictures and starring Casey Affleck, Rooney Mara... What? And apparently Kesha? Apparently Kesha's in there as Spirit Girl. Okay, Kesha's in there. That's... okay. It's a film that I've put off reviewing for a while. I did see it quite a while ago at the London Sundance Film Festival, and I've put off talking about it because there's something about this film that apparently I'm not getting, which is that everyone seems to like it. So it's a story about the couple, Casey Affleck, Rooney Mara, and their home that Casey Affleck wants to stay in, Rooney Mara doesn't, and he gets into an accident causing him to die, and he becomes a cloak-covered spirit, you know, Halloween costume style, and he starts following Rooney Mara around as she goes through the grief of losing her husband. And onward, because it's a, well, to quote whatever marketing material they're using, it's like an exploration of time, love, loss, identity. Very big, broad themes that it's trying to cover, and that's how it feels in the film. It feels very big and broad, and not all over the place, just very much like... Does this make you think? Because we're trying to make you think, is how it feels the whole film is going. Let's just start with the stuff that I can definitively say that I liked and disliked before getting into the artistic-y side of it. Also, I'm going to forget about words that are real. The cinematography I really enjoyed. I think that the photography and the composition of some shots were really interesting, and I think that that was by far my most enjoyable part of it, and even still I thought that some of the shots were a bit ruined by the grading. There were moments where I felt like the assessment of people calling it Instagram filter style really were apparent. It seemed like YouTube first vlogger colour correction, where like they desaturate the shadows and add a basic colour in there and suddenly everything looks washed out, and I didn't think that helped for some of the scenes. Acting, solid all the way through, although I don't think that there's actually much to do acting-wise, honestly. The film's nothing really like this, but the comparison comes to, you know, Ryan Gosling in Drive, you know, the stare into the middle distance and emote. Rooney Mara's the top billing, because she's the biggest name. Casey Affleck, is it really Casey Affleck under the sheet the whole time? Doubt it, because it's just a sheet. That's all. It doesn't do anything. It's just a thing with eye holes cut out of it. He's not there, so barely any performance from him. And then as the film moves past the story of that relationship, then it just becomes more and more little vignettes where people only get one scene. So really, acting, nothing much to show as saying this person sold it. The score was sometimes great. There's also like an official song for the film that's played in the trailer, and it's actually made by Casey Affleck's character in film, which some might find it annoying. I just kind of found it quite funny. Because it's really like, it's really stereotypical of the kind of character that he is. And I don't think it's meant to be funny. I think it's meant to be composing into this theme of, oh, the scope of time, the scope of love and connection to places and all of that. But I just kind of found it like, yeah, he's a solo indie producer. He makes all the music himself, and of course he has the kind of... I'm not like doing the really high-pitched singing. And you can't understand half the word he's saying. Like, you'd have to look up the lyrics for this song, because it is... I'm still trying to remember it. But yeah, I found that funny, and this leads into, I suppose, the point that I was trying to make about the overall thing of it, because I don't think that this is a clever film. It sounds patronising, but I just don't think that I saw anything or felt anything or thought about anything that I haven't experienced in another film, and in a better quality, really. For the first half of this film, I thought it was actually going to turn out to be a parody of indie films. That's how strong its traits were. And I'm not saying it was like slapstick, like really in-your-face parody, but I felt like it was taking the themes and basically saying, you know, this is what all indie films are trying to do, isn't it funny? We're drawing attention to this. And then it took itself too seriously, and as it went into the second half, I got the gist of, oh no, oh you're you're serious about this, aren't you? And from there I just kind of felt tired. Even though it was a very short film, I just grew very tired. And if I had to give like my poster quote or DVD cover quote for it, it would just be David Lowery saw Tree of Life and thought, I could do that on a cheaper budget. That's really it. And I was so certain of this kind of comedic aspect of it, because there are moments that are funny, like the ghost sometimes appears with subtitles for what he's thinking, and it's so out of nowhere that it caused laughs in the cinema. And there's one particular scene which I think will become synonymous with this film, which is the pie eating scene. Did you ever want to watch Rooney Mara eat a pie for 5 minutes, sitting on the floor of a kitchen? Yeah, you did. Yeah, I could tell you wanted to. God, that was long. But at the same time, I think I could not stop myself from laughing throughout all of it because it's so ridiculous. It is just Rooney Mara sat in a corner eating a pie for 3 minutes. That is what it is. I've seen some people reading into it, which I think that could definitely be what the people were going for. I think that it's not obvious from the framing or from the setup or anything like that. I think that it's just ridiculous. A ridiculous scene that, honestly, as it just kept going and going and going, I was holding back laughter more and more and more. And that came into the idea of me thinking it was a parody, because I thought I was laughing with the film, you know, at the absurdity of indie films nowadays, that the huge scope that they try to encompass into their themes and everything while having a very small production scope. Again, as I say, then it turned out that actually I was laughing at the film rather than with it. I don't think that this is one of those films where I could say, oh, I just didn't get it, because I think that I definitely got it. I got everything that it was trying to say. It's one of these films that makes you feel like it's trying to be intellectual when really it's all surface level, and it was really, I mean, there's people saying you can read into this so much. There's another 5-minute scene in the centre of the film where someone monologues about essentially like a point of view from the film. It's such a drag. It's in a party scene and it's just someone explaining their views on life, their nihilistic views on life for 5 minutes. And the whole time I'm just thinking, yeah, okay, I've heard this all before from True Detective and other things like that, but also, like, who invites this person to a party? It was so boring just listening to this person for 5 minutes go on and on and on about their point, and it's just, we're all gonna die, art's gonna disappear, everything is meaningless, ha 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 ha, that's real deep, thank you. It just felt like philosophy, like Introduction to Nihilism, and it was dragging, and again, nothing smart about it. There's nothing smart about having a person sit in front of the camera for 5 minutes saying their views. Like, that's what I'm doing right now. It's not clever. It's not smart. I've even got Facebook notifications going off in the background. That's how good I am at it. Stop. Okay, right. Thanks, Harrison. Where was I going? I think I got a point in there somewhere, which is about the same as how I feel they directed this. Like, they went through all the scenes, like, yeah, there's a point in there. Okay. If you see the trailer and it looks like something you're interested in, or you like A24 films, great, go watch it. I seem to be in the minority where I think that it is overrated and, frankly, stupid. I've gotten way more negative just for doing the review, but it's just, I'm exasperated by... I didn't come out of it thinking, God, that was terrible. It's more the fact that every single review coming out since has said how it brilliant it is, how it conveys this whole scope of time. And I don't particularly love Tree of Life either, but I would say The Tree of Life is a better film than this. It's in it because it conveys its themes way better, way more artistically, and it gets you more involved in the film. I didn't feel involved in any of these characters whatsoever. They were just there, just puppets for the director/writer. There were times where you could say it leans into the idea of being an experience film. If that works for you, then great, but again, I think that I can't get into an experience unless it's something that, you know, it's giving me something new or something interesting to do with, and all I was, again, thinking was, I've been here before, and better. Cue the comments of me being an idiot and not getting anything. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. If you want more, there's way more reviews on the channel, as well as the podcast. We've got 2 podcasts now, so it's The Real Opinions, where it's just me and Harrison talking about films and going into detail spoiler-wise. And also we have the second podcast, which is Backstory Strips, which is a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed that one. But I've already rambled too much for an end screen, so thank you very much, and I hope you watch more.